All right, good morning. I'd like to call to order the Lower Suffolk Township Board of Supervisors work session meeting of March 18th, 2026. Ask everybody to join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That brings us to our first public comment agenda item. Is there anyone wishing to recognize? Seeing no one, we will move on. I'll take a motion to approve the work session meeting minutes of February 18th, 2026 and or March 3rd. 6. Comments or questions? Motion. Second. Move to a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Public Works Director, Mr. Tucci.
Good morning. Update on some projects. The Main Street sidewalk project, utility relocation is still the issue. Hopefully that will be resolved by the end of this weekend with, at least with Pico and with, Verizon, and then Comcast is going to follow Verizon.
There's a fairly sizable impression next to the man. Like more attention than sustaining.
The goal, hope is that once, these utilities get out of there in the next couple of weeks, and, the work will then start back on the actual sidewalk construction. So that's the hope. Burgess Mill Road Bridge. We had a rain event on March 6th, which created some more issues with the non-functioning inlet. The driveway at 690 Burgess Mill Road, the sides of the driveway were washed out because of the rain event. There was debris all over the roadway. Just nothing was functioning as it should have. So I did my usual rant and rave to the county and everybody else that would listen. And I actually did receive a response from Jesse King from the county. He's the Director of Assets and Infrastructure. And it was very cryptic. It was just, we'll discuss this with our team. And have not heard anything back yet. I did get a phone call from the project superintendent from H&K. And just asked if he was asking whether I had gotten any information from the county, and I told him no. And I just said, well, I'm running it up the chain. I'm tired of not getting any responses from anybody. So, and there's a lot of work that H&K still needs to do in the park. The cleanup, the restoration, the trees, there's a lot of things that I want to make sure that they don't, that's still on their radar and doesn't get lost. So, and as we get into warmer weather and construction season, I want to make sure that it all gets done as soon as possible. One thing the superintendent did mention to me that the location of the existing inlet was where it is because they were concerned with the integrity of the wall. I think that inlet is lower than what the original inlet was, but the original structure was immediately adjacent to the wall. So I don't know that they have legitimate concerns. So all these issues we need to resolve. New public works facility, we're continue to look at alternative sites for the complex and try to move forward with the concepts. All of our construction contracts are in place at this point, so we're moving forward with our plans for the road improvements this year. One of the equipment rental contract, one of the projects we have planned is the resurfacing of Indian Creek Road and Grouse Mill Road from 113 to Freeman's down the hill going in front of the quarry. There have been ongoing discussions previously with the quarry about the effects of that and the impact of that resurfacing on the quarry and potential flooding, and which I don't believe there are legitimate concerns. The quarry sees it differently, so I'm sure this will reignite rekindle the conversations about our plans and what we intend to do.
I have been down. I've been going down there during rain events, and that inlet either gets overwhelmed, the one that they're complaining about just before the the entrance. Or the water goes around it. And I had a video I can show it to you,
Okay,
if I can find it. But the water does kind of go around that inlet quite a bit, it goes right at the entrance to the quarry. I don't know what can be done about it. You know, like if they could. Either lower, I know the inlet is very shallow already, I don't know if they'd be able to lower that a couple of inches. Or maybe put a berm around the bottom end of it or something, or. I don't know what we could do, I honestly don't know, we'd have to really take a look at that, a little closer, I think.
okay,
Because the water does go right into the, I mean, yeah, if I can find the video, I'll show it to you.
no, I'd be happy to take a look at it, because every time I've been down there, it seems to be functioning fine.
I think in lighter rains it does, it seems to stay to the side, but as soon as it gets heavier, it starts coming out towards the road, a lot of water will take past the. So, like I said, because I've been getting complaints, and, I wanna go down there during some rain events to see, and like, it seems like when it's lighter, it just stays at the inlet. But when it's heavier, it does seem to either, and I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't close enough to look, I was off the edge of the road, but, it looks like the water either. It gets overwhelmed, because it is a lot of water coming down the hill, and, it starts bypassing. And it does run right in the front entrance there, so like I said, I want to look at it a little bit closer.
Yeah, and it's a difficult location,
Yeah.
because it's right in that transition from a crown roadway to a super elevation.
Yep, yep.
So I don't know if it's that portion where it's relatively flat, and there's not enough pitch and crown in the roadway to keep it, going into the inlet.
That might have something to do with it.
But the plan is to do some reprofiling, or at least scratch milling, not do an inch, an inch and a half or 2 inch depth mill on that road, try to keep as much of the structure in place as we can. Because there are a limited number of driveways and there were no number of areas that will be affected, by just adding another inch and a half to the roadway. So,
Can we lower the top of that inlet down a little bit, or is that, I know it's very shallow already, maybe take the top off.
well, yeah, we'll take a close look at it and see if there's,
Frame on there or something.
or if there might be a low profile top that could be installed or
Yeah, give it
something.
a couple extra inches might help, so. Like I said, I'll try to get that video.
Okay. So, and I also sent an email to Harleysville Materials, John Connor and Dave Smith, requesting street sweeping services that are part of our agreement. And also advising them or reminding them of the, part of the resurfacing project also includes the installation of raised pavement markers. Because the challenge that we have is maintaining the pavement markings with the sweeping and with the truck traffic, and they just get obliterated and they disappear. So with raised pavement markings, then they would be in place longer and provide that level of safety, especially around the curves. So the quarry, as part of their agreement, has agreed to contribute $10,000 towards the cost of the installation of those pavement markers. So it was a little reminder that I sent to them as well, with my request for street sweeping services. And as of yet, I have not heard anything back from them. So. On the agenda, there's an item for the renewal of our traffic signal and streetlight maintenance agreement. This is a 3-year agreement with Higgins and Sons. It's a professional service, so it does not have to be bid. The terms of the agreement are identical to what's currently in place. The only difference is that there is about an 8 to 10% increase in the hourly rates that are associated with the new agreement. And over a 3-year period, that's, in these days, that's pretty modest. So if the board is so inclined, I'd like authorization to enter into this agreement.
Doug, is this the same company we've been using?
It has been.
Pagan is familiar. I
Yes.
just want to make sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any complaints with Higgins' work at all, or their level of responsiveness in
Emergencies, no. There's a communication gap with, when you call to report a problem, and then it's a challenge getting feedback sometimes on what was what the issue was, what was done to correct it, those kinds of things, but generally a follow-up or a phone call handles that, so it's relatively minor in the grand scheme of things.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're happy with their performance?
Absolutely.
Any other questions or not?
Yeah, just one question. With the winter we've had, just wondering what your comment would be about the upcoming pothole recovery season. Normally, the township's done a great job that I've seen through the year. I'm just wondering how this year compares to other years.
Over the last several years, we've made great strides in resurfacing our roads and making sure that those potholes don't even have an opportunity to rear their ugly heads. There's always gonna be some here or there, so it's a little worse this year just because of the freeze thaw and the hard winter that we had. But it's nothing compared to what it used to be in the past. So.
And a reminder that we do have a number of roads in the township that are state PennDOT roads.
Right.
Main Street,
113,
113, Kinsey.
Ruth, Clemens, Fretz, Wambold.
So if there are potholes on there, there's a PennDOT.
1-800 fix road.
Yeah, 1-800 fix road.
We're not able to go there, touch them.
Correct.
Right.
It would be a liability issue
Right.
for us if we did that.
Okay, yeah.
But we do have that on the website. I think we've sent it out with the constant contact. So, you know, people are seeing potholes on some of the roads in the township that are not municipal roads. And if they do call it, we do say that that's what they should do. And we usually follow up with that as well, but.
So.
Yeah. But potholes are worse.
There you go.
All right, so do we need to look for the motion to approve the things?
Yes.
So I'll take a motion to approve the municipal service agreement for the maintenance of traffic control signals and street lighting as put forth by Charles A. Higgins and Sons.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
second. Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. Just an update on some department activities. Believe it or not, salt deliveries are starting to trickle in. We got. It's a good thing we didn't need it for the last month, right? Month and a half. So we still have about 300 tons outstanding that they need to deliver. So, and that'll pretty much fill
I say,
the
so our
salt.
facilities be at capacity.
It'll be
Already-
close enough. Close enough. We've been making office renovations to accommodate the new assistant director of public works. We're conducting second interviews this afternoon for that position, so we have a good crop of candidates, so we hope to have somebody in place by the end of April. All things go well. Working on spring cleanup at the parks and the grounds. We're also working on refurbishing one of our pedestrian bridges. It's along the trail that leads from Oak Drive to Main Street. It's an old wooden structure. The physical structure itself is in good condition. It was the decking that started to it was getting slippery during rain events. The railing was attached to the sides of the wooden joists. It's getting a little wobbly, so we're replacing all the decking with maintenance-free materials, and then also installing new metal railings along the bridge itself. And we have two other similar structures in the township that, as we move forward, we'll just systematically refurbish them as well. There also is an opportunity for us to acquire a pedestrian bridge. Geez, can't even remember his name now. The gentleman that we got the used furniture from. Mike Hart, thank you. Brain cramp. The project that he was working on, it's the Quest Diagnostics old facility in Collegeville. They have a 30-foot galvanized pedestrian bridge that he's looking to see if we have use for. Looks to be. My thought was the trail extension at Rife Park.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
We have the one ravine.
Waterway there.
we have the one between the first field and the second field. There's a fairly steep ravine there that, I don't know, I'm sure we could figure a way in a location where we could utilize a 30-foot structure there to gain access to the second. And then the third is, we've already got a kind of a walking path access to that. So we could do, like 3 loops as the extension of the trail system there. So at this point, don't have any idea of price, or I think at some point we would want to have the structure evaluated before we, before we did anything, but,
Look at the kid horse and I'm out.
just, trying to see if the board has any interest before
I mean,
we.
as long as we have use for it, my disposition would be, I leave it up to you. If it warrants purchasing or acquiring. Just to have it and sit it in a park somewhere, I'm wild about that.
Understood. I think that's our biggest challenge at this point for expanding the trail system is how do we cross that ravine? So if we can, we will take some time and we'll look and see if there's an ideal spot for it. That we can easily get it and make it as accessible as possible, those kinds of things, but, so we'll take a look at it before we pull the trigger.
I'm thinking the removal and then the transportation is a little expensive. So I mean, hopefully the price is really attractive so that we can, warrant.
Yeah, a donation would be great.
I like the way you think.
We would transport free for it.
Grace will be happy to write a very nice.
Exactly right. Some good pub in the newsletter and, yeah, so. That is all that I have. I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jones this morning? All right, very good. Police department.
Just a quick update on probationary officer Bubness. His field training program is going very well. He's now solo in a car. He's very happy about that. As is his partner. Getting a lot of positive feedback from the public regarding the work that he's doing. So we're doing well.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Is there any update on the Clemens Road traffic backup?
No. We're gonna have Higgins look at the timing on that.
Great. It came up again.
Same time.
Same time.
But the challenge with that is that all it takes is one person trying to cross the street and push the ped button. And then it throws the whole coordination out of whack. Or, you get an ambulance that goes through there, with the preemption. And then it just has that cumulative effect. And then it takes time for the system to recover. So it may be specific times or just, random times that this is happening, and
Right.
there could be other factors that are involved.
Completely understandable if it's preventable.
When
That's all we're
adaptive,
looking for.
when adaptive was new, there was a lot of complaints from Hennings. That their green was too short. So. You've got some balance there.
Don't we have the ability to go back and look at the timing at the event time that's in question?
We do, but I think there's currently an issue with the fiber going back to the PennDOT hub. So I think I need to look into that.
I think
And
that
we'll
fiber
cure
hub-
some of these ills because it helps these
Yeah.
guys then
Yeah, if we can pinpoint that, okay, yeah, there was
an event.
right.
Okay. Anything else? Very good, moving right along. Building and zoning director, Mr. Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no need for a zoning hearing board in April. As of now. We've issued 35 permits so far in March. Upcoming at the planning commission meeting, March 25, is going to be a pretty busy meeting. We have 488 Harleysville pipeline plans that were submitted and are currently being reviewed. That's 26 dwelling units. The AO sign ordinance we're going to be discussing. So, as of course you know, you adopted the amendment to the AO district. And we're discussing at the planning commission level, any potential changes because of the recent changes to the zoning ordinance to allow additional uses on AO district parcels. And, the planning commission wanted to discuss that, so we're gonna discuss any potential future amendments for that. 110 Castle Road sketch plan came in, that's the corner of Brent's Road and Castle Roads, the Moyer Farm. Sketch plan came in for 110 dwelling unit age restricted development there, ranging from singles to towns, and a lot of open space. 531 Main Street, the Clements Mill. Land development, the 14 dwelling units with a couple of singles and twins over there. That came in for final plans. You approved the preliminary plans. So the Indian Valley Regional Planning Commission is, of course, updating their comprehensive plan, and we're continuing the discussion based on their recommendation for the township to look at the area on the other side of the turnpike for a potential change in designation from rural resource to maybe secondary or designated road. So we're going to discuss that and most likely have a recommendation from the planning commission to you as a result of the meeting. Okay, and then Michelle, CKS is still working on the stormwater management ordinance, moving forward with the 1,500 square foot threshold that we determined at the last meeting. And so that should actually also generate a recommendation from the planning commission. Also, we'll be looking at a potential to amend the township's grinder pump ordinance. There's a relatively new DEP requirement that requires that if more than one dwelling unit is hooked up to a grinder pump, then DEP has backup energy requirements at the generator. And it was brought to our attention that the requirement was there, and it's been discussed and urged that the township require a permanent generator in that situation instead of a temporary generator, because that's typically what's proposed as a temporary generator. We feel that it's more appropriate to have a permanent generator in there because there's, more than one house is connected to it, or more than one dwelling is connected to it in the case of a townhouse, than having to not pull out a temporary generator from some garage or shed somewhere and hook it up in inclement weather. It's probably advantageous to have that permanent generator already there with an automatic transfer switch to take care of it all for you. With the proper alarms, and they call who you need to call to fix whatever needs fixed. And so that's going to be discussed at the planning commission level, but I think the majority of those discussions will most likely happen with staff. And the upcoming work session, what you'll most likely see is based on the recent approval for 279 Fallow Field, the Moorwood Road Fallow Field intersection there, that minor subdivision, is the consideration to approve the plans. So as you remember, like early last year, it was recommended for approval by the planning commission, but we held off bringing it to you until the sewer was figured out. Well, now it's figured out, and so the last meeting was the last step in signing of the planning module and submission of that. So we're most likely going to bring that in front of the board for approval in April. And if all goes well with the stormwater management ordinance, then that would be the potential to authorize advertisement in April as well. And some recent activity in the region, you might have known, is data centers going up and Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester County. So much that it, sparks, information, the push of information out there. There's a upcoming eco seminar. Montgomery County Planning Commission has created a model ordinance around data centers. And so we're gonna be taking a look at that, both at the planning commission level, staff level. And we'll be coming to the board most likely with the potential for an ordinance amendment. For the township to be in a better position to handle any potential future proposals for data centers.
Better position in what way?
To be able to regulate data centers. So data centers, they've been creating a lot of discussion around data centers. You have like emergency power generators, potential water towers, pump stations, impact for the wastewater treatment plant, water cooling, holding facilities. And there's concerns from residents with like increase in electric bills and things of that nature. Like the look that they're quite big. Some of them are like millions of square feet, like 30-acre square foot. I think there's one, I think it's in Chester County, and it's sometimes they are proposed in appropriate situations, like in Limerick, it's already in an industrial zone. And so they're able to, I guess, manage that or mitigate that appropriately. Other situations, it's a little bit closer to residential units. And so the residents are coming out and like I was saying, like they're pretty big, they're big facilities and they're relatively new. So there's, in order for when something like this comes up where it's maybe a use that already existed, but there's a push for the use to be constructed more often, I guess municipalities will designate regulations in the ordinance to better mitigate any potential impacts.
So it's done in a more responsible way.
Right.
And then the power of those things being crazy. So we end up sucking all the power on the grid. So there's an ordinance that right. That affect the law. They have to supply their own power, but the whole thing. I think they're interesting.
From your experience, where in our township would there be one? Possible.
So well, off the top of my head, I think that it would be more appropriate in our industrial district. We don't have a specific use listed in the permitted uses in the industrial district. However, if one came in tomorrow, then it would be categorized as something on the list and most likely heavy industrial use.
That may not be conducive if it doesn't have the power and water supply and running for everything.
But if we take a look at it and require a certain amount of tract area for a data center, then they, would of course need to comply with all of that. But right now they, if a data center would be proposed in the industrial district, then they would just comply with the industrial district standards. Okay, but there's potential for different types of like intensities of buffers and sound mitigation and environmental mitigation, that sort of thing. So it's something for the township to consider, so we'll discuss it.
So it's gonna be on your agenda for sure?
Yes. Yes, maybe not an agenda item, but I'll be bringing it up, and then we're gonna be talking about it at staff levels.
Awesome.
Like the regional comp plan, looking at the issue at all?
Yes, we are.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can get an update from the planning commission with David Goodman on the regional. Yes, and great planning commission. So
We're looking at the counties having webinars to discuss it. The model governance consent.
And one more question on that regional comp plan 10-year review, is that possibility of adjusting impact the castle and the Moyer Farm?
It does,
Okay,
it does.
and in what way?
So in development pressure, so from time to time, the Lower Southard has development pressures in certain areas of the township. This is one area in the township where the township has seen development pressure, we'll call it, in the past, where like industrial uses have been proposed, residential uses similar to this have been proposed before, and that is above and beyond what is allowed in the R1A district. And so the county knows that, and so the county flags it. And it's not every year that the comp plan is updated, it's updated every 10 years. So what the county will do is they'll take a look at the trends and flag that for municipalities, and they flag this for us to take a look at whether or not the township will consider changing it if the township wants to change the use designation. So the use designation on the comp plan really should coincide with the zoning map of the township, and so now is the time to update it.
So you had mentioned that drawing for the, adult community. So does that fit into the current zoning?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No.
That would need to be changed.
Yes. So if the township wants it, and it's actually the how they coincided is kind of appropriate, because it mirrors the development pressure that we have seen in the past. So now we have an active sketch plan that's being reviewed, and that's going to be reviewed by the planning commission, and talked about that hand in hand with the update and comprehensive plan.
Anything else for? Anything else?
No.
All right, moving right along. Township Manager, Mr. Newcastle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will turn the floor over to Budget Projects Coordinator Grace Kelly, and she'll explain the item on the agenda.
Sure, we just have a need to update the resolution for the DCNR grant that we applied to last year, so it's still the same program and project for which we were awarded $250,000 for, just the original resolution, not include the signing, who had authorization to sign the grant agreement, which will be coming through once we pass this resolution.
This is for the upgrade to the playground, make it ADA accessible and so forth, and all the requirements.
So where are we at in the process? Just refresh my memory. I know we got the grant. We haven't received any money or funding, right?
Correct. Well, we have to get this
Well,
thing
for
taken
this.
care of,
Okay.
right? And then they'll send us the final contract and we'll
Fine.
sign that off. And
At the end of the month, we'll meet with DCNR as well as our consultant, I guess, from General Recreation. And he has a proposed plan on how we could move forward with just the 250,000 funds right now, which would basically include constructing off of the playground at a time. So we'll see what he has to offer in that regard, and then we'll just discuss in what ways we're allowed to move forward without the remaining funds of the project, because it was around a $600,000 project.
So we're looking at phasing the project based on the funding that's available.
Or we could wait until we have all the funding. We have 5 years to use these DCNR funds. So it depends if you would like to see it go in stages, or if there would like to be kind of more of a grant driven pattern.
Any preference on a phase construction or we?
my only thought would be that the cost of the equipment and installation is not gonna get cheaper between now and 5 years. So if you want to save some funds, I would suggest maybe moving forward in a phased fashion, doing a portion now.
There's no guarantee we're gonna get any more funds for it.
Correct.
So I would say we just go what we can and get more funds for anyone I don't.
Someday we may have an open space fund to pull some money.
Someday.
You know, everybody with that? Yeah, let's move it forward. Okay, sounds good.
Nothing further under the manager's report, though there is a need for executive session for item of personnel and real estate.
We need a motion on resolution.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, you need a motion on resolution 2628.
I'd like to
Sorry.
make a motion to approve resolution 2026-08 authorizing Joe Chakowski as a designated signer related to this grant.
Second. Moved in second, and all in favor, say aye. Aye, those say nay, motion carries. Now, we might be in executive session. Who was that?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
All right, executive sessions for personnel and real estate with no intention to retire.
Correct.
With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Moved in second, and all in favor, say aye. Aye, those say nay, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.